Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching. Thank you for joining us.
Frank's back. You know what that means. So as you all can imagine, it is Memorial Day weekend, and that only means one thing. Well, it kind of means two things. It's the unofficial kickoff of the summer for most people out there, but for the Fun Parent and the Fun Parent YouTube channel, it is the official kickoff of the 2024 Fun Parent Summer of Fun series. So I've got the camper all hooked up here. We've got a late start this year, so this camper is not even de-winterized yet. So I'm gonna take it down to Stubbs' house today. We're gonna get it all set for this coming camping season, and we've got a few upgrades for you today as well. So now there is one problem that I have to address with the storage company, and that is this mound that they built in front of where I've got to pull the trailer out. I am really hoping that this does not cause an issue for me when I pull out of here. Well, it made it over, but that is something I'm gonna definitely have to address with them. I might just go in there now and see if they're there. They're probably not, because it's the Saturday Memorial Day weekend, but let's just hit the road. So as I get on the road here, I think we'll take a few minutes right now while I'm driving just to kind of address the lack of videos in 2024. It's officially Memorial Day weekend, and we have not posted a single video since around Christmas time last year. Well, to be honest with you, we haven't really done much. We've kind of spent the last few months doing some work around the house. We're in the process of moving Kaylee down to our fourth bedroom, which was the Fun Parents studio. The Fun Parents studio has now taken over the playroom that used to be the kids' playroom, and now we're getting started on making my old studio the new bedroom of Kaylee. So we've kind of been real busy with that kind of stuff. We haven't really gone anywhere that was worth really doing any major filming for. We did a medieval times trip, which was pretty fun, but I just wanted to enjoy that with the family. But it's time to getting back to making some videos. So this is going to be the first video for 2024. We are back to making weekly videos. Just to give you a little rundown of what we've got coming up, I've got a 10-part or a 9 or 10-part, depending on length, of video series coming out on our most recent Disney trip, which is actually Abby's first Disney trip. And then from there, we have a few camping trips coming up. We have a week down in Sunset Beach, North Carolina on the docket for this year as well. So we've got some stuff coming up now, and then we've also got a couple backlogged trips that we took last year, one to Diggerland and another one to the Adventure Aquarium in Camden. So we got some stuff coming out for you guys. I apologize for all the subscribers that have not been able to see any new content. Hopefully you missed us, but we're back now and excited to get back out on the road. That's not good. Oh, we definitely had some critters in here over the winter. That's a first. Well, on top of the sign of rodents in here, I'm also missing the pole for this bed right here. I'm hoping I put it on the other bed when I closed this camper up in the fall last year. We'll find out in a few minutes. All right, well, I got everything out. Is there two poles under here? Not here. Last chance for two poles. We've got one. No second pole. Found it. It was tucked up under this pad here. So I must have stuck it up under there when we packed up last, because the mattress was wet. So I moved the mattress onto the slide out. And now we're good. Cool. So outside of the rodents making a little bit of a home in here over the winter, which, you know, unfortunately it is to be expected from time to time, I am trying to figure out on this back bed if rodents were in here or if this is just debris that was left in here from me cleaning up over the winter. It doesn't look like, this looks like dirt and stuff on this back bed, but it might have been that my feet were dirty when I climbed in here to close the bed down and I just got stuff in here. I don't know, but these sheets have to come off and get washed anyway. So what is interesting is that the batteries are reading 85% right now. I am charging from the sun and I've got 12 volts coming in. Interesting that the batteries are reading 85% though. I wonder why that is. Is the fridge on? Nope, fridge is not on. Have to figure that out too. Well, we're officially all set up. We're opened up. So now let's talk a little bit about what we are going to be doing today. So we are de-winterizing the camper. So basically what that means is I am going to hook a water hose up. I'm going to flush out all of the antifreeze that is in the systems now. And I want to make sure that one, all the antifreeze is out of the lines, and two, that there's no leaks. I would argue that this is probably one of the most exciting times as an RV owner, but it's also one of the most stressful times because you don't really know what's been going on inside this camper over the course of the winter. If you're from down south and you don't have seasons like we do up north, you probably may not know what I'm talking about, but this is the point where it's like, okay, if there's anything that's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong in the next like few hours. So stay tuned for that. Obviously the rodents getting in here, from what I see, that little corner is the only sign where there's actually rodent sign there. I'm hoping as I start to empty out some of these storage compartments, we're not going to find more sign of rodents, but we kept no food in here. My guess is that they probably just found a way to get in and then made a little home in here during the winter time. Fingers crossed that they didn't eat through anything. But I won't know any of that until we get everything running. So far, I did test out the interior lights. I tested all the exterior lights, and everything seems to be working from an electrical standpoint. I am wondering why the battery's draining so quickly, though. That is strange that I'm already at 85% battery life, and these batteries were on a tender at home, and they've been hooked up to the car power, which should have been keeping everything charged over at least until I got here. Outside of the normal de-winterization process, I am also going to be installing this RV lock keyless entry system today. Wish me luck on that. Luckily Stubbs is here in case I drop the ball on anything there. So this is going to be another priority for me today. And I also got a tent to set up outside of the camper to put our table that we set up underneath the awning in. And the reason we're doing that is we now have that ice maker that we bought last year. And with that ice maker outside, if it's about to rain, we're kind of stuck where we have to keep the awning out or bring the ice maker in. So this tent will hopefully prevent us from having to worry about what's underneath that tent when we're set up. If it's going to rain, we can just pull the awning in, or at least pull the awning in even when we're about to leave camp, and we don't have to worry about anything under that tent getting wet. I'm not going to set that up today, but I am going to have to find a place to keep it. The other big thing that we're going to be doing today outside of the regular de-winterization is I'm going to be doing a hard clean out here. So I'm here by myself. I don't have the kids here. Court's not here. And my objective for today is really just to get through every compartment and think about, like, hey, we've had this in this camper now for, let's say, 2 years. We're going on our 3rd season now. If I haven't used this in 2 years, do I really need it in the camper? The other side to that equation is if I've used it once or twice in the last 2 years, is there a major value to this, or is this something that I can remove from the camper and save us a little bit of weight? Look at Stubbs' little work cart. So here's the Stubbs Roo. What are you calling this baby?
I don't know.
Ruella DeVille? Ooh, that's a good one. Ruella DeVille. Man, I missed the boat with the Fun Parent Mobile Command Unit. Look at this battery box Stubbs put on his Roo. So he's got 3 batteries in there right now, and room for some tools and storage. So what do you keep in this?
All the gas hoses and brass fittings for the gas.
How much was this box?
109.
Could we put this on my Roo?
We certainly could.
Oh my God. I was just thinking this morning when I was putting the batteries back in about how I hate that battery box. So I feel like it's gonna fall apart at any minute. All of this is gonna get done, but first I gotta have some lunch. Nothing kills the motivation to de-winterize a camper like a plate of wings and a couple beers, but we are back. We went down to Davy's Locker in Montvale. Davy's always a pleasure. And now we are gonna start de-winterizing this baby. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna deal with the water system first, get that out of the way, because that's the biggest pain in the neck. And then after that, it's just kind of going through everything and figuring out what I can get rid of for the year. So anode rods, these go in the hot water heater right there at the bottom. Yes, they are going to get corroded. Yes, they are going to get gross, and they are going to look like rock candy when you take them out at the end of a season. It's normal. So I see a lot of posts on social media of people asking, is this normal? Is this what my anode rod should look like when I pull it out? Yes. I replace mine every year. I think they guarantee these things for like 2 years. When you order them, they say like 2-year guarantee. I just replace mine every year. It keeps everything kind of clean. And if it's doing its job, it's gonna look like rock candy at the end. So I've still got a lot of sediment in there from usually last year it drained out real easy, but this year I see a lot of sediment in there. So I'm gonna flush this out first before I put the new rod in. Not to mention the fact that I had a really hard time trying to screw the new rod in first, and that's when I kind of noticed the sediment in there. It may also have something to do with the fact that Stubbs was like, hey, did you flush that out first? And I said no, and he went, let's flush it out, and now we're just doing it. There you go. Ewy. Look how much stuff ran down that.
Look at all the stuff on the ground.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at all that white stuff, all that sediment that built up in the hot water heater.
There's still a lot in there, but I could get it all out.
This thing just won't thread in. We're gonna try to clean the threads now, but it's just not, it's not catching the threads for some reason. So it never ceases to amaze me that Stubbs just pulls these tools out that I never even knew existed. So he's using, what is this thing called?
Tap.
Oh, that's a tap?
Mm-hmm.
He's got this tap that he's putting in there to clean the threads real quick here. I was trying to use a rag before. All right, so anode rod is finally in, and now I am going to officially turn on the water for the first time this season, fingers crossed. There is the filter filled with the antifreeze right now. I wanted to make sure that was on nice and tight. So this is in the back compartment here under the back bed. So if you're not familiar, there it is. There's a little panel that I just took off. It says water pump and filter access. And now I am going to go ahead and turn the water on. One other point I will make is you want this valve to be turned off too, because this is hooked up to the antifreeze line. So now if I did not have a city water connection hooked up, and I needed to run the pump, I would basically be pulling off the antifreeze line instead of the regular water line. But now that's off too. Well, I'm gonna have to address that. All right, so I'm flushing out all the pink stuff out of the cold water lines. And then I'm gonna switch the switches back over from the bypass for the hot water heater once all this pink is gone, and then we'll flush out the hot water lines. You can see the color is already starting to clear up a little bit here. So now we're back over here by the hot water heater, and we have the bypass line, which is the white line you see right there. And as you can see, both of these valves are in the open position technically. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip them so that this switch is now facing towards the hot water heater, and that will allow both hot and cold water in and out of the hot water heater. And just to show you all, it's much easier to just bring the jackknife over and lift this cushion up than it is to try to lift the back cushion forward and then try to access it that way. So this is a much easier way to do it. You could also technically take off this panel, which isn't actually even attached in here at all at this point, and do it from the outside, but this is a much easier way to get to it. So now that we've got water pumping in through the hot water heater, let's make sure this rod is not leaking, which it theoretically should not be. And it looks good. So now the next step is going to be to test out the hot water heater. So we're going to go and we're going to kick this hot water heater on right now. First though, what I'm going to do is I am going to drain the rest of the antifreeze out of the rest of the lines. And then at that point, we'll kick the hot water heater on. The last spot you don't want to forget about is the outdoor shower. So when I do the outdoor shower, I actually take the whole shower nozzle off just to prevent any water from getting caught up in there. But it also makes it a little bit easier to get the pink stuff out when you spray it, because it comes out at a much stronger stream. There we go, we're clear. Let's do this one now. And we're clear. So now the next step is to kick on the hot water heater. So I just have to turn the propane on for this. So we're gonna go ahead and open up these tanks. I'm not sure which one is actually on right now. I'm gonna turn them both on. They both have propane in them, so we should be good. And fingers crossed the propane kicks on, or the hot water heater kicks on. We'll try right now. Ruh-roh. All right, it took a second and then it kicked on, but we are good. We've got gas boiling the water. We're gonna let that go for a little bit, and then we'll run some hot water through the system as well. So while the hot water heater is running, what I'm gonna do now is just check under the sinks and just make sure we got no leaks anywhere, we've got no water coming out anywhere. Everything looks good. I don't see anything under the sink there. I should probably grab a flashlight. Just looking underneath, everything looks dry. I don't see any water pooling up under there anywhere, which is good. Again, no issues under here. Everything seems to be dry. Yep, everything seems to be dry under here. Last check around the toilet area. I don't see any water leaking out from the toilet anywhere, so I think we're good here. Okay, so Stubbs had this sticker made. I mean, he had it made by my sister, so it's not like...
No, I didn't.
Whatever, either way.
I had it made.
So we had this sticker made that says, "A family that roos together moves together." I refuse to put anything like that on my camper. Just like, if you know me, I don't wear matching Disney shirts. Why? Because I think it's weird. But he had it made and he wants to see. So in the comments, should I put the sticker on the camper or should I not?
I have one on my sticker to bring the family together.
The families are already together. I don't need to advertise that
yes,
I'm.
You do.
No, I don't. So comment down below. Should I put the decal on the camper or should I not? I'm gonna give it. You're facing. He's standing behind the camera. Should I put that sticker on the camper or not? Comment down below. My vote is automatically no, so that's one vote for no. So while the hot water heater does its thing, I am gonna take off the old handle here.
Did you flush out all the antifreeze before you turn the hot water heater on?
Kind of.
You have to get it all out before you turn this off.
Well, I flushed everything out, but okay. I did forget to flush all of the lines out, and I did bypass it. So there is some antifreeze in there, which will come out on the first trip, or will come out today, actually. But yeah, you're
try to get as much.
He's pointing out one of the mistakes that I made today, which
not a mistake. I'm just.
It is a mistake. It is a mistake. It is a mistake because I should have known better, but I didn't. But now, while the hot water heater is doing its thing, I'm gonna take this thing off and then figure out how to put the new one on, which is in the kitchen. So there's the hole. So theoretically, the new one should clip right into there, and this should be plug and play, but we'll see. All right, so I got to take these four screws out first and then install the new lock, which is significantly larger. So it is significantly larger than the one that was on there, which makes me a little nervous. Stubbs is telling me I'm going to be fine. I tend to side with what Stubbs says. It's very rare he steers me wrong, but it is significantly larger, so we'll see in a second. So what Stubbs is, we're trying to get this thing in, and it's sitting a little loose in there. So what we're gonna do is just put a little bead of silicone right along the top there, just so God forbid there is any water does try to sneak its way in, it won't be able to get in. But well, that was fairly painless. Now let's close the door and make sure it opens.
To be your keeper there on the door next.
All right, door closes, it opens. It closes, it opens. All right, so now I have to press this code reset button in until the thing talks to me. So let's see.
Enter new code, then press lock.
And then press what?
Enter new code, then press lock. New code accepted.
So we just programmed the deadbolt. Stubbs seems a little concerned that this doesn't lock automatically as well. I see what he's saying, but I don't know. I feel like the deadbolt's enough, right?
It definitely is.
The deadbolt's really what you're worried about. And now we're going to program the remotes. So there's a switch on the back plate here that you have to switch to on to activate remote capabilities. I thought we just had to turn that on in general. So now we have to press and release fob learn using a pen or slim tool, and then press and release lock button on remote until the handle confirms pairings. Let's see how this works. I think that's where I screwed up because I was holding it down. I just got to press it and release it.
Connect your remote. Remote connected.
That was easy enough. Can't beat that. So now the true test. Voila! We've got a new lock installed. All right. So the water system's working. The new handle's installed. Now let's go check the hot water and make sure it got hot. You would think it did, right? Stubbs, get it out of here. It's not going on the camper. Oh yeah, that water is hot. So I am gonna run this for just a minute because as I mentioned earlier, I forgot to drain all the antifreeze out of the lines before I flipped the bypass switch over for the hot water heater, and Stubbs has me paranoid right now. I'm sure I'm fine because there was 6 gallons of water being pumped into probably maybe a half a cup of antifreeze, but let's just be safe than sorry. So now, with all of that being said, it's time to do some cleaning in here. I've got to clean up the rodent mess that's in here. I'm going to start taking everything out section by section and going through it. I'm not going to film any of that because it's really just going to be kind of like a lot of me going through stuff, and I don't really think that's very entertaining. But what I will show you is at the end, I'll show you what I've opted to take out of the camper. So if you're thinking about stuff that maybe you're like up in the air about, like, should I put this in the camper, should I not? I'll just show you this is stuff that we never used or very rarely used in the camper. Stay tuned for that. You know, I felt like I was gonna go through this camper today and like just unload a trunk full of stuff that we don't really use. And after spending about the last hour or so going through the camper, I didn't really get rid of much. Most of the stuff that I took out was like stuff that from Abby when she was a baby. Well, I mean, she's still a baby, but from when she was like a real little baby that like I just know we're not gonna use anymore. I took out a spare set of sheets that we just had kind of tucked in there for some reason. This thing, Yard Candy Illuminations, we bought this, I forget what campground we bought this at, but the one dart doesn't light up. I took out an OtterBox that like I'd had in the camper forever, and like we never used it, so I'm taking that out. But most of the stuff is like just like stuff that we used for Abby when she was a baby, and now we really don't need anymore. So not as much room as I thought, but with all that being said, I still have to find a home for the 2 newest additions. We got pickleball paddles. So we were watching people play pickleball last year, and Nick really wanted to do it. So we bought a pickleball set, or actually I think we got these for Christmas. I think Santa brought those as a Christmas gift, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think Santa got those actually for us, now that I'm thinking about it. And hold on a second. And this box here is the new tent. So I'm actually gonna cut it open now and just take the sack out. And I think I'm actually gonna be able to store that in the campsite compartment, because I took the tackle box out of there and put that in the back. So that should clear out some room for here. Yep, mission accomplished, there it is. If you guys are wondering what this is, I'm gonna post a picture of it here from Amazon, and then I will also put the link in the description in case you are interested in ordering one. I don't get anything for it, but figured if you guys are interested in buying one of those, here's the link for it. Another one of the discoveries that I made today is these Sterlite 15-quart boxes fit up here in this top compartment absolutely perfect. So I'm going to talk to Court about possibly maybe getting a few of those to line here and then over here. That way we can kind of put stuff in these that like we either don't want to get wet. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. I don't know, I'll have to think about it. I feel like it's a good idea, but now that I'm thinking about it more, what do we really need it for? But I'm pretty much done for today. So I think the plan is I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna leave the camper here today because Court's car has got some crazy rattling, banging noise under the driver's side front wheel. I think it's just a strut issue. But instead of me towing the camper home with the strut issue. We're bringing the car to the mechanic on Tuesday. So maybe I'm just gonna leave the camper here. Maybe I'll even come and wash the camper this week and then bring it home when the car's done. So I think that's gonna be the plan. I got a lot accomplished today though. I'm feeling pretty happy with how much I got done. I still just have to take the sheets off to take those home to wash them. And with that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. So let's close this baby up. So I know I've talked about this on a lot of our other videos, but when you are closing up the tent beds on the Ruse or any hybrid for that matter, turn on the vent fans to full high. And then once you hear that beautiful sound right there, make sure all your windows are closed. And what that will do is that will suck the tent beds in, and then it makes it a lot easier to close the beds up on the outside.
There you go. Need a ladder.
Stubbs is over here lubing up my seals.
Not that seal.
He couldn't wait until I could do it, huh? He just jumped right in there.
I never did it. I want to try it.
Oh, that's great. Why don't you try it on yours?
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it. I think if it's going to melt something, it'll melt it on yours.
Looks like you really know what you're doing.
Keep grabbing. Got the stuff on my finger.
He goes, I've never done it before. It's warmed up. One of the other things that I did do when I took the cover off that I forgot to mention earlier was I checked all my seals. So basically what's really important is that you're checking all of the lap seal around all of your potential leak points on the roof to make sure that none of the seals are drying out and cracked. All of mine look good. When I clean the roof, when I come back, I'll do another double check on it just to make sure when the roof is nice and clean that there's nothing up there. The roof's pretty clean to begin with, but that is something that I did do while I was on the roof today. With that, I'm gonna pull the slide in as soon as we're done lubing these up, and then I'm gonna park this baby and then head on home. Well, getting the camper ready for the next season was a success. Fortunately, no major issues, which is always a plus. I always say an uneventful season opener is a great season opener. But anyway, we're all set to go for our first trip of the season, which is still pending. We do have a trip booked for the end of June down in Ocean City, Maryland. But we are talking about doing a trip a little bit closer to home just to make sure that everything is fully functioning as it should, especially in the air conditioning. Before we drive 5.5 hours and find out like the AC doesn't work. So we are going to probably get another trip in before that. Stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, enjoy this upcoming video series from Disney. And with that being said, we're done, son.